former CEO of Dish TV, to get an industry perspective and begin by asking him about the impact of this move on the existing DTH players. Listen in to a small slice of that conversation.
The cable industry was ripe for consolidation because it's always been historically a highly fragmented industry, and even the bigger players who have been operating in this market haven't been actually able to generate the level of scale which is required to sustain the kind of investments which are required with the rapidly changing technologies, etc. However, having said that, I think this will still remain a route for Reliance to reach the homes in cable and convert them probably going forward into gigafiber-based technologies and things like that. In the immediate term, I do not see any impact of this on DTH because basically I think the first focus of Reliance will be to acquire these homes through the access that they have now got with the cable acquisition, and then look to upgrade those lines from coaxial to fiber. And I think that will be the primary focus, and that's probably the rationale behind this acquisition is more to get a route to the last mile connectivity via gigafiber rather than expanding a coaxial network, which is anyway, I think their plan, if you look at it from a geo perspective, would be potentially to give broadband as well as rich media as well as voice and all of that bundled together, and their focus will be on these homes rather than the DTH homes at this stage.
But sir, we know that Reliance Industries has stated his claim that he wants around 5 crore subscribers. So eventually there would be some impact on the DTH segment because of this consolidation in the cable market?
Not really, because as you see, the DTH segment caters to, even in the US, it caters to the widely dispersed geographical areas. Even today in the US, you have a fairly substantial subscriber count, which is DTH, despite the fact that you have very strong cable players like Comcast and Time Warner Cable, etc. So I don't see any immediate impact, but certainly, yes, in a longer time frame, 3 to 5 years, there could be some impact going forward because obviously the pipe is a much better pipe. Optic fiber pipe will allow for two-way interactivity and things like that, which is a bit of a challenge for DTH because it's a one-way pipe. Having said that, however, the satellite technology is a very efficient means of delivery and very cost-efficient means of delivery because the bandwidth costs which are associated with any of these land-based technologies are substantially higher than those of a satellite operator. So we do expect that, over time, perhaps the dense urban agglomerations like the main cities, Bombay, Delhi, etc., would be ripe for conversion, and to that extent, I think that DTH could face a bit of a challenge there. But in the rural hinterland and other places in the far-flung areas, DTH, I think, will not be immediately impacted.
And do you expect price wars to intensify further between the DTH players and the cable players post this acquisition?
No, I don't think this will be a price war kind of situation because, if I read whatever I'm reading correctly, this is going to be more of a bundled offering where you have X amount of bandwidth, you have TV, you have voice, everything bundled together in a single monthly subscription. So and whereas DTH is a pure play, content delivery system. So I don't see that there's going to be escalation of price. If anything, I think this also is a positive for ARPUs because one of the reasons why ARPUs are not moving up in the entire industry was because of a fragmented cable. But if there's consolidation in cable, Reliance will be very well placed to actually increase its prices. And if it does that, it will benefit the entire industry as a whole.
But then what about the DTH segment, sir? Do you expect them to lower their prices if there's a price war?
Well, that's precisely what I'm saying. The product they're selling are different. DTH is selling a pure play TV segment, whereas if we yet to see that, but my guess is if whenever Reliance Jio comes out, Gigafiber comes out, it'll come with a bundled package for a monthly subscription, which will be substantially higher than what the DTH player is currently offering, because they'll be offering TV as well as broadband as well as voice and a whole suite of offerings that they put together. I don't see them pricing it at DTH levels. So I don't think price is the determinant here, unlike telecom, where the game was very different. It was a game of capacity utilization rather than content delivery. Content delivery is associated with costs. Therefore, I don't believe that there's going to be, price is going to be the basic motivation.
But sir, don't you think that consumers would prefer a service provider who's offering you broadband and DTH both, rather than being into two different subscribers, one with DTH and one with broadband?
Yeah, but I mean, if you already have installed subscriptions and you're happy with it, there's no immediate motivation for change. So, and remember, there are other players also who will participate in the broadband. They will also come up with offerings. The telcos also are interested to be invested in this space. There's plenty of other broadband players who also will hold on to their subscribers. So it's a market dynamic. We'll have to wait and watch. But as I said, I don't see any immediate catastrophe for DTH or any such thing, the way the market has been pricing it.
So you still expect that customer stickiness could be an issue for Reliance Industries even post this acquisition?
Customer stickiness for Reliance, in what sense? Because they don't, or they haven't.
Usually in the broadband and DTH segment, we have seen that customers don't tend to change operators that frequently as we have seen in the telecom market. So do you think that will still possess an issue for Reliance Industries?
Yeah, it is, because, changing a SIM card takes you 5 minutes, whereas changing a connection to the home requires fairly significant investment in terms of time and getting somebody to come and wire up your home and things like that. So there will be that inertia factor. But at the end of the day, if the service is really good, then it's only a question of differential in terms of time. It probably take a little longer time, but if the service is superior, then people will opt for it. But, we haven't seen the packages. We haven't seen what exactly is on offer. So I think we'll have more clarity after they announce all the various packages and things that they have planned.
So earlier, when Reliance Industries had announced its entry into this segment, we all knew that last mile connectivity would be a major issue for Reliance Industries. Now, post this acquisition, do you still think there would be some issues with this last mile connectivity, or this issue is now completely resolved for Reliance Industries?
No, I think at least as far as these 20 million homes are concerned, the last mile connectivity issue will probably mostly resolved, right, through this acquisition. The challenges ultimately beyond the first 20 million, or they might probably acquire more cable network, and then there's a limit to which they can do that without triggering CCI's intervention. So we'll have to see, but this gives them a jump start. It gives them the first 20 million homes to which to have an easy route to the last mile. So it's a great move from a perspective of getting this business started off. It immediately gives them access to 20 million homes, which is great. And then, of course, they will be planning out what next. So not really in a position to comment on what their thinking is on that.
Lastly, sir, you have been in this sector for a very long time. So according to you, now post this acquisition, what could be the major hindrances for Reliance Industries going forward?
Well, Reliance is well cashed up to pursue a project of this magnitude. Immediately, they have a fiber backbone on which they've been working on it for years. So pretty much, I think they're in a pole position. I don't think there are very many people who can challenge them on on this at this point. Either this requires both infrastructure as well as a very strong balance sheet. And, even if others have the balance sheet, they probably don't have the access to the infrastructure which is required. So I think I'm in a great position.
Also, sir, the DTH segment is a 5-player market as of now. So are you expecting some consolidation to happen further in this segment because of this move of Reliance Industries?
Yeah, I think further consolidation is certainly a possibility there. As said, already seen one round of consolidation with Dish TV and Videocon. We've also seen Airtel parceling out a small stake to Warburg Pincus. Tata Sky is the other major player. And Sun is very localized to the south. So yes, certainly I think there is possibility of further consolidation.
So what would be the appropriate market size of this player, of this industry? 2-player, 3-player? How many players could be the right?
No such thing as an appropriate market size. But certainly, if Sun is a regional play, it's unlikely that they will consolidate because I think one of the primary reasons why they are there in that market is to protect their broadcast business. So that leaves Airtel and Tata, and I wouldn't be surprised if at some point the two of them got together. But this is pure speculation. I have no knowledge about that.